This is lesson 113, ratio problems with totals. Now, to understand these ratio problems, you need to understand that a ratio is really just a fraction that's been reduced. Okay, so when we jump into our first example here, they tell us that the ratio of boys to girls, and we use this little colon when we're talking about ratios, boys to girls is 5-4. Now, that would be really simple if the total kids in the class were 9, but the total kids in the class are 27. So again, this ratio is boys to girls. So if we add boys and girls, we know boys plus girls is going to equal 27. And we know that the fraction of boys, okay, is 5/9. So here's our total, right? The fraction of boys is going to be the boys, out of the total, 9. And that's going to be boys. And girls is going to be 4-9. So there's going to be a total of 4 girls, 4 girls to a total of 9. And then we want to know how many that is if the total is 27. So these are going to be like equivalent fractions. Now, 9 times what equals 27? We know that 9 times 3 equals 27. So our ratio is just going to be multiplied by 3 across the board to find these equivalent fractions. This is going to be 15 boys times 3, and 12 girls. So in a total of 27 students, our ratio of boys to girls is 15-12. Another way that we could do that, by the way, is if we cross multiplied, which I think is what your book does. But it says, for instance, G. 4 is to 9 as G is to 27. It's like an analogy. So if you cross multiply, you could also find that number. All right, so our second example has to do with the ratio of football players to band members. I don't know why they always have to pit football players and band members against each other, but okay, just kidding. So football players to band members is 2-5. That means that for every 2 football players, there are 5 band members. Now, again, if the total were 7, that means there would be only 2 football players and 5 band members. And we all know that you can't play football with only 2 members. So our actual total is 175, but our ratio is still 2-5. So how do we figure this out? Well, again, if we had only 7 total, that would be 2 out of 7 would be football players. Okay? But we don't. We have 175 total. Okay. And this would be football players. So again, let's draw our ratio box because Saxon wants you to draw a ratio box. All right, so we are just going to cross multiply. Okay, so that means that 2 times 175 is equal to 7 times our number of football players. So if we divide both sides by 7, okay, we get football players by itself, and we got to multiply 2 times 175 and then divide by 7. So 175 times 2 is 350 divided by 7. Notice how I'm doing all of this by hand, as painful as it is, would be 50, right? Okay. So our actual count for football players is 50. And then I'm not going to do the same thing, excuse me. I'm just going to subtract 50 from 175 because that'll give me my total band members. Because we know that when we add these two together, we've got to get 175. That's it for this lesson. I noticed there were people that had problems on this, so please make sure to ask questions if you need to, and I'm sorry for not uploading this sooner. God bless.